Alright, welcome back to episode number 407. We're here viewing episode 1140, an admired hero of the Warrior of Liberation who saves Bonney, and chapter 1157. So, a lot of stuff happened this episode. This episode is from chapter 1106, which we have. As of this very episode, there are only 19 chapters left. It is still my theory for basically when the final episode of this arc will be episode 1157. That will be the last episode for this arc. Do I think basically they're going to start the next arc, Elbath, with episode 1160? For those of you curious, how many chapters is the current arc in? As of the news chapter. A grand total of... Get this. You're going to love this. So, as of news chapter 1157, we are at a whopping 31 chapters in. Yeah, 31 right now. Well, do I think basically now, here's the weird thing when it comes to manga, is that, despite the fact, yes, it's been 2 weeks since the last chapter came out, and for some weird reason they have to have it where, and I do not know the reason for this, we have to wait another 2 weeks after this week for the next show to come out. I don't know why. It's weird. But hopefully Elbath next arc can be a little bit more in by the time the anime starts adapting. Or they're going to have to do some filler. The only option I can think of they can do is, and this is something I really want them to do before they do Elbath, how about adapt some cover story arcs? I can list up several of them. Like, there's the stuff with Gangbenge Oma family. Yeah, that one would be perfect to adapt. Take up roughly 2 chapters. Excuse me. So, and look at basically of what the cover image is basically of what they can do for the cover one. Based on what is there for cover stories, well, so far anyways, they've only covered, they covered the first 2, Buggy's Crew Chronicles. Don't worry, we'll talk about this episode. Diary of Koi Mubbo. The third one, they did adapt this one in like mostly one episode. Ace's Blackbeard Search. This, I don't think they'll do this one per se. Not really, no, though they have brought in one of the characters from this arc into the anime, the Milk Girl. Yep, they brought her in. Alright. Good, there's XNOC Blue Life. No, well, they're probably go through the stuff that's, well, The only ones I can think of they probably could adapt, I would say definitely Gang Bench, all My Family. This one would be perfect, given the fact it's only, well, 37 chapters. You can do this probably in a few episodes. And the following one, German 66 and Mostlich Incursion. They did adapt 2 of the chapters in one of the episodes. Well, that's because basically the stuff related to, well, pudding. But I could definitely see this one be covered too. Oh yeah, definitely. If you're curious, how many cover chapters does basically Gang Oh My Chap Most Incursion? This covers roughly 34 chapters. So, I would say just these 2 right now. Do I think they'll adapt the other ones? I'm not sure. You might think, oh, what they do the From Decks of the World, the 500 million man arc? I mean, it's possible they can do this one. Yes. Was that for the anime? No, this is not that for the anime. Though I could see this one definitely. This one I could definitely see adapted in a few episodes. How long is this one? This is 35 chapters. So I'd say just. But what about the Jinbei arc? Well, this one you can probably do as a flashback. Yeah, I could see this one adapt as a flashback. Caribou's ka in a new world. This one, well, they did kind of adapt partially this arc for the anime. Yeah, 1 episode. And what episode was that? 921 during Wano. But you're like, really? Did they adapt this whole thing? I'd say most of it. I don't think the whole thing. So, I would say the only ones I could think of they could probably do as sort of they could probably sometimes flashback. But I would say definitely the 3 arcs they should adapt. Before they do Elbath, do Gang Bench on Family, German 6 Emotional Excursion, and I would probably say Oni Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Circuit Pilgrimage. This one's probably going to be adapted too, because it gets a chance to bring back. It gets a chance to see Yamato in the castle of Wano again. I could definitely see this one adapted too. I don't see why not. It just depends on what Toby would do. I would just doing that before they start doing Elbath. Like, do these 3 arcs because that you need to basically spend a little time away from the Straw Hats. I mean, here's the thing. These cover stories are like 1 page. So, here's the thing. Okay, so when they adapted the very first one, which was definitely important, the Buggy Crew Adventures Chronicles, this was adapted for 2 episodes. '46 and 47. Like, how did they do this one? They did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. I could definitely see this one be adapted too. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, actually, that's already been adapted. So, it looks like it was adapted for Zoro Falls in the Sea. I don't think it was adapted. And even an episode of the live-action series, Worse in the East. So, but what about the episode itself? Well, we have it where a bunch of stuff is going on. We start out with Luffy. Actually, first we start out with basically the island still be under the Buster Call. And Luffy, of course, basically is surrounded by a bunch of soldiers. And then his big belly disappears. We actually shrink down. And then he starts laughing, and the ground starts going bouncy, and eventually you see him become his Gear 5. We don't see transformation this episode. Nope. You don't see he starts dancing around, pop around buildings. We do have Sanji flying up to Atlas, Kuma, Bonney, and Frankie were all falling because the rock car was basically the tube was sliced by Katsu in the previous episode. So tries to save them and of course block Katsu, though he gets punched by Luffy. And a funny thing with that one. So the pacifist's about to fire. So Vegapunk basically uses his little earpiece to communicate with Atlas to tell Bonney something, which of course Atlas does, tells Bonney something, and then Bonney tells Pacifistas, like, don't shoot, help us. And then, get this, everybody's firing, and then all of a sudden, all the Pacifistas just stop aiming at Bonney, and they turn and they fire on the ships again. And they're blasting them. And then, like, after, of course, Luffy knocks out Katsu, and then Vegapunk gets stabbed in the back by Saint Saturn with one of his spider feet, seriously wounding him. And of course, basically, where Bonney checks on him because the ground was being bounced by Luffy. So Sanji and Bonney basically check on him. Meanwhile, though, off the shoreline, they're like, something's happened to our ships. Like, oh crap, what the heck is that? It's a humongous ship. And then we start to clear, and we see shields along the side. And then we hear some laughter. No, it's not Luffy. It's the return of the giant pirates! Yes. And it's Dory and Baragi. First time in present day. Well, technically they were seen in the previous arc of the series. When, actually it was early on before this. But Luffy has not seen them since Little Garden. Their last appearance was weird. Where, like, they were still in Elbath with Shanks, and Shanks proceeded to, I'm trying to think, I think it was Shanks actually, no, it wasn't Bartomeu, no, it wasn't him. It was actually Captain Kidd he encountered. It was a Captain Kidd encountered, which they proceed to destroy his ship, and of course Bartomeu basically apologizes for his actions. And the thing is, Luffy didn't know anything about this. This is all me. Like, don't be mad at Luffy for this. This is all me. Like, he even apologized to him, allowed him to leave, but the ship was destroyed anyways. Yeah, I'm like, what was the point of basically destroying these ships? Yes, because Captain Kidd's ship was destroyed. The Polo Tango was randomly destroyed by Blackbeard. At least the other two were pretty calculated. Polo Tango was just destroyed completely random. And presumably all the crew except for Law and Beppo flee the ship. Bonnie's crew have disappeared. I'm like, what is up with this arc basically where like we had all these established crews and all these ships get destroyed? We had like 4 ships, like three confirmed destroyed on screen. One presumably off, one actually destroyed off screen. And I'm like, what? Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing related to this. Oh yeah, definitely. It is just really strange. Of like, that's the only complaint I have about this arc is they have to destroy crews. Why? Because we're in the final saga? It is possible. That's probably the reason why for it. But I'm like, yeah, it's like we have all these established pirate crews. who probably have their own fan bases, and Oda is just destroying these crews. Yeah, like Shank destroyed the Kid Pirates. Black Pirates destroyed the Polo Tango. Yeah, and this happened with their ship being destroyed in episode 1112, which actually was a little while ago. How long ago the episode was destroyed? Uh, that was basically last year, believe it or not, when they destroyed the ship. Yeah, I'm trying to find out exactly, like, let's see. Come on, thank you. Let's see. Sorry, basically it's taking a bit here. I'm trying to look up something here. There we go. The Bartra Club. Yeah, the Going Luffy Senpai was destroyed in episode... Okay, it was just... Let's see. I remember it was... See, yeah, it was destroyed in the anime in episode... Oh, it has not been seen yet. Okay, so it has not happened yet. Alright. So... Let's see. In the case of... excuse me. The Polar Tang that was destroyed was actually destroyed in the anime. Yeah, it was destroyed in episodes 11, 14, 11, 15, which was actually just last year as well. Yeah, this is something basically I've never understood of exactly why we have to destroy these crews. That's like Christmas half the arc. So then, of course, yeah, like I said, the giant pirates show up, and well, they start wrecking stuff, and it gets really good. Now, I mentioned basically when the manga, when this came out last year, the reason for them being here pretty much signals the arc is ending really soon, which it does in 19 chapters. Which means the next arc we'll see chronologically after this will be Elbath. But I'm really hoping that the anime holds off on that because there's probably not enough chapters. And please, love of God, no more recap episodes because we don't need more of those, okay? But we're not done just yet. Next up we have is chapter 1157, Legendary Bar, where we have, on the cover, we have Yamato. I think this is, of course, you also see Kiku, and I believe that it's supposed to be... Oh yeah, I believe she's actually one of the members of the Wano Yakuza, where it's Ogachow Yamato's Golden Heart for Soka Pilgrimage, Volume 39. He fought against Kaido to protect his village, but perished while leaving a body behind. So, we started out with the Rock Pirates basically raiding a charity sanctuary. It was like, no way, the money was donated for hungry children. Liar. Why is it collecting dust in your vault then? Yep. And of course, there's a bomb. Basically, I think it's like Kaido and Blackbeard. They kind of leave behind, and basically, like, then of course, then they're in a place. And of course, Newgate causes destruction, and Shiki basically, it's like, yeah. And then of course, get this, Rocks basically comes across a bunch of Navy ships and orders them to be sunk and destroy their loot. And like 2 years following the Rocks pirates were responsible for recorded raiding 16 ships, 14 birds burned to the ground, 5 towns leveled, 1 kingdom burned to the road, 3 special violations, Article 18 of war law, and 25 crimes are completely covered up. And apparently Gold Roger, so there are rock pirates, and then basically everybody basically is trying to chip. Of course, Harold basically tries to go off Navy as well, and wind up and the Elbath basically they're all celebrating, and then we cut to Navy headquarters. By the way, this is actually the original Navy headquarters that was destroyed. That was destroyed in Marineford. That was basically transferred to what used to be G1. And at this meeting here, we have Garp, Luffy's grandfather, Senku, future fleet admiral, Osaru, a future great advisor, and Kong, future commander-in-chief. So they'll chat about it for a while, and then, of course, there's a scandal. Philip is apparently, it's Senku, she's not the Captain Character Pirates anymore. What? Doesn't your chances of running across you basically 0 now? Yep. And the reason why, because she decided to simply retire. What's she doing? Gloriosa, yeah, basically the future grandma. And then we see, get this, we see the woman who gets involved, Susky, who basically is in love with Newgate. Yep. And then we see Shiki, where she's wearing a very similar looking outfit that Boa Hancock will wear years later. And by the way, little fun fact, Shiki currently is in her 60s, but she does not look in her 60s at all. Have here for a while, and then of course she just gives up the pirate life, and everybody basically wants to declare the love for her, but nope. And then Shiki opens up her bar on, Finland. Shiki's bar, the same also place that pops up on Sabaody. Look, it's my first customer. Yep. And then, yay, the bar smells nice. And then, at Mary's Raw, give us ultimatum then. If you ever else meet the following requirement, you would love to join the world government. Kill Rocks. Yep. Overall, fantastic chapter. Do I think basically we're going to wrap this flashback up soon? Maybe. Who knows? But we have to wait 2 weeks for that one. Okay? So yeah, that's particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up is Comic History, and then it's on to the Shy here and the Assassin Princesses. Okay? Thanks, Phil. Bye.